If you want content to stop feeling like a waste of time and actually generate you leads and sales for your business, then you need to learn the art of turning viewers into buyers, especially while you sleep. And in this video, I'm going to go through a 3-step framework or formula that allows you to do that. And if you're wondering who I am, my name's Ajane, also known as AJ. I'm behind one of the biggest manifestation channels in the world. Plus, I've helped multiple creators and business owners grow their personal brands that actually generate them qualified leads and grow their businesses. So with that being said, let's actually go into the first thing that you need to understand, and that is having one primary channel backed up with 1 to 2 secondary channels. And I know this goes against some of the advice that you've probably heard online. The advice online is typically, focus on one platform. You don't have a big team, just do one platform and make that your client acquisition channel, make that your personal brand and grow from there. The reason you do not want to do this is, what if something happens to that channel? What if Instagram decides, yeah, today ain't your day and you're getting banned? I've seen this happen to a lot of people. They do outreach on Instagram DMs and then their Instagram account's limited and they don't have any other way of acquiring clients, which is why you need backup channels. You need secondary channels, even if it's having an email list, even if it's being on another platform. Now, I'm a big advocate for YouTube. I'm also a big advocate for Instagram. TikTok, not so much, but I know a lot of people can actually grow their businesses on there. I'm still kind of confused about that, but whatever works for you works for you. Ideally, make your biggest platform your main platform, and then create a secondary platform if you haven't already. Ideally, I would say make YouTube your main. If Instagram's your main platform, make Instagram your main platform, and then make YouTube your secondary one. You could also throw TikTok in there because you can just post your Instagram reels onto TikTok. If YouTube is your main platform, make YouTube the main one, but then make Instagram a secondary platform where maybe you throw a few reels from clipped up YouTube videos, or maybe you just make a few low effort reels to test if an idea is even worth it. And then from there, you can actually start growing that channel and then directing everyone back to your main channel. I mean, when you think about it, you put in so much effort to create one video. Well, depending on what type of videos you're creating, but typically you're putting in a lot of effort. You're validating the idea, you're thinking really hard how you can make it different. You're then filming that, you're probably even scripting it depending on how you like to outline your videos. And then the editing process too, if you're doing it or you're paying someone to do it, it's time or it's money. That is a lot of effort or financial resources to just post it on one platform, especially when it can be on other platforms for literally an extra 5 seconds worth of work. I actually seen this happen to someone that I know. They were running their business just strictly through Instagram. It's DM selling, you're doing outreach, you've got setters and then you book them into a call, etc. It's great, right? It was working until it doesn't. Not because the method no longer works, because Instagram restricts your account. And then you're panicking, you can't run ads, you can't DM people, people can't follow you, and then it's just fucking long from there. Like, where do you actually go from there? You try and rush to go over to YouTube, but potentially even takes a few weeks for that to start running. So your business is literally stuck because you can't generate any leads, you can't talk to any leads, and you've got no ways to actually market yourself. Take that preventative step, and then we can move on to number 2. And number 2, you need to have a way for someone to discover you, but then also binge you. I think this is potentially the most important step, because if someone can't discover you and more importantly binge you, the binge aspect is what speeds up the time for someone to go from a cold viewer, someone that's never known you, to buying into a workshop, buying into your high ticket program, attending an event that you're running. And this actually directly links back to point number 1. This is why you need more than one channel, because YouTube, it can be used for discovery and it can be used for nurturing and binging. 100% true. But to be discovered on YouTube, it is typically a little bit harder. So if you're relying on YouTube purely for your discovery, you're going to struggle. But if you have a secondary platform such as Instagram or TikTok, it's a lot easier to get views on there. Even though all views are not made equal, it's still a lot easier to get views, which means someone can then find you on TikTok or find you on Instagram and then decide if they want to find you on YouTube and binge more of your videos because the little 30-second reel that they found was genuinely useful. The best method I found for this is that people will watch your videos on short form platforms. They will discover you, whether you're telling stories, sharing lessons, educating, teaching, whatever it may be. They find a clip, they find it super interesting. They go, this guy's actually all right, let me move over to YouTube. Or you direct them to YouTube, or they find out that you have a YouTube channel. And then they find out you're actually giving 20 times the value from a short form video on YouTube, and then they start binging your YouTube. And because YouTube, I could go on for days about this, YouTube builds trust a lot faster. People are more intentional. You spend more time with them. You build a parasocial relationship with people on YouTube. It's insane. But when people watch 5 of your 20, 10-minute videos, whatever it may be, they've now consumed they've now consumed like an hour or 2 of you. And that's making them more susceptible to buying into your workshop that you run every month, or joining your webinar that you run every month or every week, or buying a low ticket digital product that you run. And it's funny because I seen myself go through this exact same process with someone called Taki. I didn't know who Taki was. I found him on a short form video, or I think someone sent his video into a group chat. I checked him out, then I binged his YouTube and I was like, fuck, this guy is good, bro. Then I attended a workshop. I was like, this is good. Then I attended another one, and then I joined Black Belt. Like, that is literally the whole process. But there's actually one thing missing, and this is the third point that you need to implement. And to turn someone from a cold viewer or a viewer in general into someone that's buying your product overnight while you sleep, it's not just about having content, because your content should do the marketing, it should do the selling, it should handle the objections, correct. But if you're missing this one thing, it's going to be a lot harder. You need to have lead magnets that provide free value, but also produce a fast result for a tiny specific problem. And the reason this is so useful is because someone will be like, oh, I'm struggling with hooks, for example. You check their description or you comment a keyword and they give you literally a whole template, and you're like, fuck, if they can give me this template for free, imagine what I would get if I paid money. That's literally my thought process. That's why I watched Taki's videos and I was like, damn, if this is good, I might as well attend a workshop. It's only $99. Let me do it. And I did it and I enjoyed it. And plus, you also get that next level of access. Once you build that parasocial relationship, crazy as it sounds, you're like, I actually want to see what this guy's like in live, in person, or whatever it may be. And once they're the same and it aligns, because you can't fake being live, essentially, everything just aligns for the viewer. They then instantly turn into a buyer. And once you implement these 3 things, everything just starts to work. I'm not trying to say it's going to work the next day or next week. It could take a whole month, but just know once you're doing these steps, it is working in the background. And 95% of people that buy your products probably will never comment on your content ever. So don't be surprised after a month or 2 of implementing this, you get a few sales and you're like, you've never seen these people on your YouTube comments or your Instagram comments or TikTok comments, or even in your DMs. They will just sometimes buy the product because they have been through the cycle. They've discovered you, found you quite interesting, intrigued to know more, found your actual value, and they're like, this person's actually really good. They binge you, and then they've tried your lead magnets or a lead magnet, and they're like, fuck, that worked. It actually gave me a specific result super quick that I barely had to work for. Imagine if I put in more work with this person. Imagine how much more results I could get. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you're still here, YouTube is probably recommending you this video. I would highly suggest you go check that out. That's probably one of the best videos for you, suggested by YouTube.